Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and we're going to talk about interactions from the real world that help us understand better, Dungeons & Dragons better. So, I just had, this happened 2 minutes ago. I had this interaction, and it was quite interesting, and I'm going to share it with you, and it helps me understand Druids better, right? How powerful they are, and how our campaigns... Dungeons & Dragons is coming up on 50 years, and I'm telling you, we haven't even scratched the surface on what we as humans have learned from Dungeons & Dragons, or even how, as players and Dungeon Masters, the shape of these campaigns we have, the complexity of them. We're not really painting Forgotten Realms, we're not really painting Krynn, we're not really painting Eberron the way we should. These worlds aren't fully fleshed out yet, but we're getting there, okay? So I went into the Wawa. I live on the East Coast. Wawa, on the Upper East Coast, there's an amazing... it's truly the best convenience store in the world. And so it was, church, and I wanted to get a apple fritter and some orange juice. So I went, so I get out of my car and I start walking over. And this big, huge bulldog has his head hanging out of this car. And so I'm walking up, and he's looking at me like 10 feet away, and then, and he continues to track with me. And then I pass 2 feet away from him. I'm like, hey, buddy. And he shakes his head, right? And some of his spittle comes off. And then I keep walking, right? And his owner picks his owner, one of his owners. I think the driver of the car, one of his owners, was already in the Wawa, but he's in the passenger seat, and he looks at me like, "What's happening? Who are you? What? Wait, And he gets all he has this flustered face on it, on it. He's like, "What's going on?" Right? Looks at me. And I just kept walking, right? Because I learned that from bicycling, right? If you get into a weird situation, keep moving, right? So I just walked into the Wawa, right? But he was upset because I was having a conversation with his dog. Dude, if you don't want to have people having conversations with your dog, don't bring your dog to the Wawa and let him hang his head out the door. He's bored. He doesn't want to sit in the car with your sad sack human form, right? Like, it'd just be like, you weren't even talking to your dog, dude. What the heck, right? It's common courtesy, if you come across another entity in the world, you have a nice conversation if possible, right? So I was talking to that dog. The owner got all grumpy, right? But what does this mean for Dungeons & Dragons, right? Speak with animal, speak with animal, speak with animal, right? One of the things that you should understand right now is your druid should be having conversation with other people's animals, their horses, right? So the rest of the team is going to go into the tavern. The druid should stay out and have 9 conversations with every horse. I should have a conversation with every single horse in the stable, right? Imagine what can be learned, right? Now this gets weird, right? The druid is now having a conversation with somebody else's horse. Does that horse owner have the right to stop a conversation? Because it was very clear this guy wanted the conversation between me and this dog to stop, right? I don't think he has that right. I really don't. I don't think that's appropriate, right? That's not respecting the rights of the dog. The dog can talk whoever he wants to talk to, right? And, and that's the point, right? Your druid should be having very robust conversations with every animal they come across, right? And the reality is, druids are far more powerful than we previously understood, right? And this is important, right? Some animals are subjugated to humans, right? The druid does not need to respect that, any of that ownership line, right? Like, if any animal has been put into a position where they can have a conversation with a human, that druid does not need to respect in any way the owner's desire to shut down conversation, for that animal. Even though this bulldog's owner wanted to shut down the conversation, right? Yeah. Now, I will say, I have come across pet owners who are very happy for you to talk to their dog. So not all dog owners are like that. Not all dog owners, right? So think carefully as a dungeon master. What does speak with animal mean? And we recently got a great reminder in Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Things what speak with dad means. It's huge. It's important, right? So I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks for letting me share that with you. And if you're like me, live with Dungeons & Dragons today. Right? This is a great part of my day, and it started with Dungeons & Dragons. Speak with animals. Every single word of that, my humble opinion. What's important is I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful, wonderful millennium.